This is Future Talk.
Future Talk.
Future Talk with Omnia Al Saleh and Hani Balkis.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Future Talk right here on Pulse 95. It is me, Hani Balkis, with Omnia Al Saleh, bringing you everything you need to know about what's happening in the tech world, in the UAE, and all around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, today is Wednesday, the 21st of December, 2022. We're just a couple of days away from 2023. It does seem that this year moved a little bit too fast for our liking, or for my liking, if we want to be more specific. And with 2022, we've seen a lot of new and different changes happening, from the moon mission that the UAE is going on for, and when it comes to Twitter and how the new CEO or owner of Twitter is Elon Musk. And now we're talking about how Elon Musk is going to restrict voting on policy to Twitter Blue subscribers. And this comes just after he went on a poll and said if he should step down from being the CEO of Twitter.
Yes, indeed. Coming up on today's show as well, we are going to be listening to a very, very sad message from one good old friend of ours that is actually on the surface of Mars. NASA's InSight rover has actually transmitted a heartbreaking farewell from Mars because its power died off, and we're going to be getting into that in just a bit.
Yes, and ladies and gentlemen, we're also going to be talking about TikTok's new feature that will tell you why a particular video appeared for your feed. Now, a lot of times I get some weird videos on my For You, and I'm like, this is not with my algorithm. So we will now be getting the explanation of why this is happening.
That's going to be exciting and actually very insightful as well. Coming up on today's show, we have a very exciting conversation with Haidar Al Haidary all about the use of 3D printing when it comes to the construction of street furniture in the Sharjah Research, Technology and Innovation Park. Haidar Al Haidary is actually the project executive for Meet, which is the company that is currently working with the Sharjah Research, Technology and Innovation Park, and they have consistently been working on different aspects of 3D printing, whether it is constructing the very first 3D printed villa in the region that is actually calling Sharjah its home, or even with other materials such as metals and all that. So we're going to be getting into a very exciting conversation with him shortly. If you have any questions for him, make sure you share them with us at 4215. Taking a very short break, but keep us on 95 locked because we'll be right back.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
Ladies and gentlemen, bits and bytes do connect our world, and one of the main things that do connect us with the outside world when we're on the internet is Twitter. Now, we have been seeing a lot of drama happening with Elon Musk and the Twitter saga, but now Elon Musk has new rules for voting when it does come to polls on Twitter. Now, just earlier this week, ladies and gentlemen, Elon Musk created a poll saying that if you guys want me to step down as CEO of Twitter, just say yes or no, and I will, honor the poll results. And once that did happen, he did get around 17 million votes in total, and 10 million of those 17 million votes were for him to step down as CEO. And then he disappeared off the platform for about a day and a half. And then he came back and he said, hey, I saw the votes, but now I'm going to have a new policy, and that policy will be restrict voting to Twitter Blue subscribers only. So if you want to vote in these such polls, you'll need to be a Twitter Blue subscriber, which would cost you from $8 to $11. And that is a major policy decision into paying Blue subscribers. And Elon Musk has said that just after he did make a poll calling for him to step down from CEO of Twitter.
What's funny is it actually feels like he's kind of delaying the something that you can't really miss out on. No one wants him to be CEO. That's the truth of the matter, the majority at least. And only a few people are actually happy that he is the chief of Twitter. And so according to the most recent poll, he decided, you know what, I'm going to try and get people's opinion and give them power only if they deserve it, only if they're paying customers. And so this is exactly what he plans to do. He only wants major policy decisions to be made by the people, but those people are only those who are going to go ahead and pay the subscription fee and become official Twitter Blue subscribers. And so just like you've mentioned, Hani, more than 10 million followers, or to be more specific, 57.5% of users were actually in favor of Mr. Musk having his, or actually getting rid of his role as head of Twitter. And so he decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and change the way I'm asking people so that maybe the outcome changes. So his offer to step down actually came very shortly after he attended the FIFA World Cup final match in Qatar, which actually triggered a wave of trending topics like vote yes and CEO of Twitter. And so he didn't really identify an alternative leader yet. He didn't say who he would be appointing as leader, because he's still going to be the owner of Twitter. He just doesn't want to be the CEO. But at the end of the day, we've yet to see how that actually unfolds.
Yes, we don't actually know who will be the CEO of Twitter. And actually, when question on Twitter, and when people did question him who would be the CEO of Twitter, and just put anyone, he said it's not as easy as it seems and not as easy as it does sound. Now, a lot of times, ladies and gentlemen, big companies will put a CEO in the midst of a lot of controversy and just let the new CEO be the scapegoat. So which basically means that all the blame will be put on the new CEO, while the old CEO is in the background calling all the shots, and that would be Elon Musk, as he does own 100% of all shares of Twitter. So again, more drama happening with Elon Musk, more drama happening with Twitter. And time will tell what will happen with Elon Musk and with Twitter. But if you want to know what's going to happen, obviously you will know right here on Future Talk. And we will be taking a short break, but when we come back, we got a lot more news in store for you guys.
This is Future Talk.
Future Talk.
Future Talk with Omnia Al Saleh and Hani Balkis.
Whenever we talk about 3D printing, more specifically 3D printed homes, we always think of the Sharjah Research Technology and Innovation Park, because it is home to the region's first 3D printed house, and now they're actually exploring brand new applications of the technology. One of them actually includes construction of street furniture, and we have a very, very exciting guest on the show today, one who is actually an old friend on the show, Mr. Haidar Al Haidary. He's actually joining us. He is the project executive at MEET at the Sharjah Research Technology and Innovation Park, and he's been a very vital part when it comes to working on anything that has to do with 3D printing at the park. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you. Lovely to be here.
Yes, it's lovely to have you on. It's been a while since we did have you on, but today we're talking about 3D printing. And the main question, as how 3D printing has evolved in the past couple of years, a lot of people still don't know what exactly is 3D printing. And as you are the expert, what is 3D printing?
Yeah. Like you said, 3D printing has seen a lot of interest in the past few years. Actually, it exploded from 2016 onwards, and people are exploring all sorts of applications of 3D printing. 3D printing, besides the trivial answer of it's printing in 3D, it started, I think, way back in the 1980s. At that time, there was the Industrial Revolution, the third Industrial Revolution. And factories, the assembly line was produced, factories were growing, and there were increased number of factories everywhere. And there was a lower barrier of entry to produce products and goods. And that brought across a new problem for the world, and that is, if you have an idea for a product, before you build a factory to produce it, you would want to try it out. And so you needed to build a prototype. So that's where 3D printing was born. It was initially called rapid prototyping. It was a solution. It was a way where you could build your product as soon as possible, rapidly, and then take it to the market and see if there's a demand for it. It developed with time. It started being called 3D printing, and here we are today. It's basically additively adding layers on top of each other to create a product in 3D.
Now, whenever we talk about 3D printing, the benefits are endless. But when it comes to street furniture in specific, a lot of people may not even know what street furniture is, even though we might be passing by it on a day-to-day basis. So can you talk to us a little bit more about that? What are the usual methods of construction for street furniture, and how can 3D printing add a new benefit to that?
Yeah, so street furniture is basically any outdoor furniture that's typically used in parks and on the sides of the streets. And it's typically built with all sorts of materials, aluminium, wood. And here we're trying to introduce concrete. And concrete's really amazing when it comes to outdoor furniture, because if you could build your furniture with the same material that you're building your buildings, then you could ensure that your furniture is going to last as long as you're there in that area. So that's what we're trying to explore right now with 3D concrete printing. Of course, if you do it with 3D printing of concrete, then you have a lot of extra benefits, such as the rapid prototyping of ideas, where you get designers can very quickly realize their ideas.
How long would it take to print, these 3D street furnitures?
That's pretty quick.
Wow.
So most the general benefit of 3D printing is we move a lot of the time spent in the total production time up front into the design stage, and we minimize that into the production stage. So a bench or a table would not take you more than 20 minutes to print. It's really we're allowing the designers that freedom to really dig in and ensure that they have the best designs that they could possibly come up with.
We're going to be taking a short break, but when we come back, we're actually going to be diving a lot deeper into the benefits of 3D printing, as well as some different ways that you can also get your little ones more involved and learn more about this specific type of tech. Keep Pulse 95 locked. We'll be right back.
This is Future Talk.
Future Talk.
Future Talk with Omnia Al Saleh and Hani Balkis.
When talking all about 3D printing, lots and lots of benefits tend to pop up, whether it is how sustainable it can be for the environment or even how cost efficient, how fast the process of creating any piece, any item, whether it's street furniture or even a model home at this point, because Sharjah is home to the region's very first 3D printed house. And so joining us today is the expert to tell us all about these benefits, Haidar Al Haidary, who is the project executive at MEET at the Sharjah Research, Technology and Innovation Park. He's been sharing with us all beneficial and very, very valuable information about the art of 3D printing. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Thank you. Pleasure to be here.
Haidar, just before the break, we were talking about the benefits of 3D printing when it comes to street furniture. But in general, 3D printing is definitely helping the UAE on its journey to become a lot more sustainable. Can you talk to us about that?
Absolutely. So 3D printing is one of the sustainable methods of manufacturing. It's another term for it is additive manufacturing. And a good way to understand additive manufacturing is to compare it with its alternatives, which is subtractive manufacturing and formative manufacturing. With subtractive manufacturing, we start with a big block of material, and then we remove material until we get the object that we want. So there's a lot of material wastage over there. When it comes to formative manufacturing, for example, we bend and shape a material until we get the final shape, but that consumes a lot of energy because you have to keep bending it. That brings us to additive manufacturing. With additive manufacturing, you're literally building the material from scratch. So it consumes less energy than its alternatives, as well as it reduces the waste compared to its alternatives.
It's also very cost efficient, right?
Absolutely. So if you're reducing material waste, you're obviously reducing cost there. Also, you get, as I said earlier, when you push the most of the work up front into the design stage, you get to do a few retries. You design and you simulate your object digitally, and that's again one of the benefits of 3D printing is it's a part of the digital revolution. So if we know what we're going to print beforehand and we can see it in 3D digitally, it's very less likely that we're going to make mistakes and we're going to have to redo the print.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen a lot of videos regarding 3D printing. Some people make figurines to huge things like you guys did in the park when it did come to the 3D printed villa. I believe that was the first of its kind to ever happen. So, when I think about this and I look at the bigger picture, what are the maximum heights that you could go with 3D printing? Could we say that one day a huge monument, a building could be made by 3D printing?
Absolutely. I mean, right now we're using a robotic arm which has a reach of 3 meters. The robot itself is 6 meters tall. So we can do up to 3 meters, entire wall heights of monuments or even walls themselves. In the future, definitely, I mean, there's a lot of research currently going on where you could, for example, mount this robot onto the object you're printing. So it climbs the object that is printing itself. And it becomes, if you work along that line of thought, then you could do skyscrapers as well.
That's amazing. And what's interesting about this is that these robotic arms and all the technology is readily available at the park. So can you talk to us a little bit more? What can people expect if they're visiting it and if they're more interested to be able to use these valuable technologies?
Absolutely. The Sharjah Research, Technology and Innovation Park prouds itself of having different forms of 3D printing. We do polymer 3D printing, metal 3D printing, and concrete 3D printing. And we have the different types of polymer 3D printing as well, smaller FDM printers, bigger SLS printers. Like I said, with a 3D concrete printer, we've got a 6-meter robotic arm. So we can do the entire range from really small prototypes such as rings and little keychains all the way up to buildings.
I mean, again, I'm so fascinated every time we talk about 3D printing because just the level and scope of how big and how small we can create things. And I do believe even when it does come to the healthcare sector, we've been seeing 3D printed, I believe, Omnia, we talked about a 3D...
Ventilators.
Yeah, ventilators,
during
yes.
COVID.
So again, I mean, it does seem like sky is the limit when it does come to 3D printing. And I'm very excited to see what the park has in the future. And obviously, if anything does happen, you do got to tell us.
Absolutely.
We got to get the insider information.
Absolutely. I mean, we consistently have events at the SRTP about 3D printing. We just had a couple of weeks back a workshop on 3D concrete printing. In the future, we're going to have a winter camp where we're going to talk about 3D printing as well. We never stop having events at SRTIP, and I encourage everybody to just come down there, have a look at our printers, have a look at the soil lab, probably just join into one of our many activities that are conducted there.
Absolutely, because you get to see it in action. Thank you so much, Mr. Haidar, for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We did enjoy it. Ladies and gentlemen, 4215, let us know your guys' thoughts. We are taking a short break, but when we come back, we got a lot more in store for you guys.
Pulse 95.
Apps all around.
What's worth a click and download?
Ladies and gentlemen, what is worth a click and download? Now, a lot of people, a little bit controversial when it does come to this application, and some people think it's for kids, some people think it's cringe. I think it's an amazing application, just depends on your algorithm and what is on your For You feed or For You page. And that is why today, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about TikTok's new feature that will actually tell you why a particular video did appear in your For You feed. Now, my algorithm is great. It works for me. It's about gym, bodybuilding, games, anything that I like, and sometimes the occasional trending videos. And I like it because this is what I'm interested in. This is what I would like to spend my time and ponder upon. But sometimes you'll get a really weird random video, and you just want to ask yourself, why did I get this ridiculous video? And now TikTok is going to actually tell you why.
Yes, indeed. That is literally what they're actually calling their brand new feature. It is known as the Why This Video option. So if you're wondering why you got this video on your For You page, now you'll be able to get the answer. This new feature is actually designed to bring more context to the content that is recommended on your For You page. And I think it is genius because it'll truly it'll fit the... You know when you have a puzzle and there's a missing piece, it'll be that piece. It'll be able to explain the full picture, and as users, we'll start to understand the algorithm at a much better pace. We'll start to understand why the AI works the way it does. And so shortly, within the next few days, if you didn't get the feature already, once you actually find a video that popped up on your feed that you're just not truly sure why it appeared on your feed, all you gotta do is click on the question mark icon that says, why this video? From there, you can see the reasons why a particular video was recommended for you. Now, you may be informed, let's say that you saw this particular video because of your interactions. Let's say you hearted a video that you didn't necessarily like, but you were just scrolling. Or let's say it's content that you tend to watch, you tend to like, you tend to share, you tend to comment on, or even you tend to search for. Or you may be told that you may have been shown this video because of accounts that you follow. So TikTok does say that they want you to be more informed on why a particular video is shown to you because it was posted, let's say, recently in your region, or maybe because that content is popular in the area you live in. So this feature is definitely going to be one of many ways that they are trying to bring meaningful transparency to the people who use their platform and kind of build on a number of steps that they've taken in the past to reach this goal.
Yes, and again, it's very important to see why you're getting recommended such videos. And for me, I know why I get most of my videos, but just like I said, occasionally I would get a random video, and that is because of the algorithm and how it does operate. And algorithms, ladies and gentlemen, are things, or let's say, patterns generated based off what you've been seeing. So if you keep looking and searching for spaghetti and meatballs, you're going to keep getting spaghetti and meatballs, and then it's going to tell you Alfredo pasta.
Well, that's all I get.
And then it's going to get ravioli.
Videos. All I get is food videos because I just keep looking at food videos.
I mean, I'm not complaining, but I do complain when I'm hungry, just like right now, and I just want to eat. But again, ladies and gentlemen, sometimes the For You page can get a little bit rowdy, but now you will know why it gets a little bit rowdy, so you can then alter or you can fix your viewing. 4215, ladies and gentlemen, let us know your guys' thoughts. We are taking a very, very short break, but when we come back, we're talking all about NASA.
Daily digital news. Bits and bytes connect our world.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're talking all about NASA and how their InSight has transmitted a heartbreaking farewell from Mars as power does die. Now, ladies and gentlemen, NASA's robot Martian named InSight has sent an emotional final message to the world as it does run out of power on the surface of the red planet Mars. Now, the robotic lander was designed to study the deep interior of Mars, but now it no longer has power.
The message was actually very sad. So this robot he's actually named InSight. This robot came out and he sent a message and he said, "My power is really low, so this may be the last image I can send. Don't worry about me though. My time here has been both productive and serene. If I can keep talking to my mission team, I will. But I'll be signing off here very soon. Thank you for staying with me." I think that is such a sad message. But it's also very sweet because the fact that robots can now feel like they're friends to humans is a great achievement, one. Two, it's nice that he can actually communicate to the mission team back on Earth that he may not be able to send information again because his power is low and not because anything wrong happened to him, basically, on the surface of the red planet. So once the lander is no longer operational, it will actually end its history-making mission to reveal the secrets of the red planet's interior. The InSight mission was set out to uncover how a rocky body forms and evolves to become a planet by investigating the interior structure and composition of Mars. And so this mission was also trying to determine the rate of Martian tectonic activity and meteoroid impact. So it's definitely had a lot of insight. It shared a lot of discoveries with the world, but now this mission has come to an end.
Yes, this mission has come to an end, and again, a very heartbreaking message to be relayed from this, InSight robotic lander. And again, it's crazy how the lander was transmitting the message as if it was, it had life on it. It said, "I can no longer continue." But again, we are looking at some of the discoveries that, this InSight lander did make, and it did make its first ever detection of quakes on the red planet. Its onboard seismometer has measured more than 1,300 seismic events, and more than 50 of them had clear enough signals for the team to derive information about their location on Mars. And it also did collect the most comprehensive weather data of any mission ever sent to the surface of Mars, and its sensors have detected thousands of passing dust devils, but the spacecraft cameras have not yet seen any of them. So it was a very successful mission for InSight. We'd like to thank InSight for its duty on planet Mars. And we also, while we're thanking InSight, we have to welcome the man of the hour, the halftime show, the only place to be at 3, with the man himself, Omar Duri, commencing in T-minus 5 minutes. And ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a packed show for Omar. Omar has been talking about the World Cup, and now that has come to an end. He still has a lot of insight on what happened during the World Cup, and I'm excited to hear everything that has been happening with Omar and the World Cup and everything sports. But ladies and gentlemen, this does conclude Future Talk for today, and Omni and I will see you guys tomorrow. Same time, same place, only here on Pulse
95.
If you liked this episode of Future Talk, drop a like and subscribe.
Pulse 95.
Be sure to follow us on Instagram for all our daily updates and top stories.